Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story takes us deep into the tense heart of Eastern Europe, where Vladimir Putin's latest move has shocked global observers and created unexpected friction with one of his closest allies, Alexander Lukashenko, the president of Belarus. Reports suggest that Putin has ordered Belarus to take a more direct role in the Ukraine war, possibly opening a new front from the north. But here's the twist. Lukashenko seems to be hesitating, weighing the risks of dragging his country into a full-scale conflict that could change the fate of his nation forever. As Russian losses mount and Ukraine gains ground with Western support, Putin is looking for ways to relieve pressure on his stretched military. His strategy, according to several analysts, appears to involve using Belarus as a launching pad for a new offensive against Ukraine. For months, Russian troops have been stationed on Belarusian soil under the guise of joint exercises. But now, intelligence sources and satellite images show fresh troop movements, new supply lines, and an unusual buildup of ammunition near the southern border, all signs that something much bigger might be coming. However, what Putin did not expect is resistance, not from Ukraine this time, but from Lukashenko himself. The Belarusian leader, long seen as Moscow's loyal ally, has been unusually cautious. Despite repeated calls from the Kremlin to honor their mutual defense commitments, Lukashenko is reportedly pushing back, saying his country is not ready for direct confrontation. The reason behind his hesitation is not just political, but deeply personal. He knows that sending Belarusian troops into Ukraine would make him and his regime prime targets for Western sanctions, internal dissent, and even potential rebellion. Inside Belarus, the atmosphere is fragile. Many citizens are already frustrated with years of authoritarian rule, economic decline, and heavy dependence on Russia. The idea of sending young Belarusians to die in a war that many see as Putin's war has sparked quiet anger across the country. Independent Belarusian media, operating in exile, report growing resentment among the public and even some parts of the military. Lukashenko knows that a single misstep could ignite protests like the ones that nearly toppled him in 2020. This time, though the stakes are far higher, not just for his power, but for the survival of Belarus as an independent state. Meanwhile, the Kremlin is losing patience. Putin, facing setbacks on the Ukrainian front and international isolation, needs allies who will not only speak in his favor, but also act decisively. For him, Belarus's strategic location is crucial. It provides a direct route to Kyiv and a staging area for air and missile operations. Military experts warn that if Belarus fully enters the war, Ukrainian forces will be forced to divert critical resources to defend their northern border, potentially stretching their defenses thin. But Lukashenko's hesitation threatens to derail this plan entirely. Behind closed doors, diplomatic pressure is mounting. Russian state media has subtly started to criticize Belarus, hinting that Minsk's loyalty is uncertain. Intelligence leaks suggest that Russian generals are frustrated, claiming that Lukashenko's delays are costing them valuable time before winter sets in. Yet Lukashenko, a skilled political survivor, understands the danger of obeying Putin too quickly. He has seen what happens to leaders who become too entangled in Moscow's wars: economic ruin, international isolation, and potential overthrow. To buy time, Lukashenko is playing a careful game. He continues to host Russian troops, supplies them with logistical support, and allows the use of Belarusian territory for missile launches. But he stops short of ordering his own military to cross the border. In his public statements, he insists that Belarus is ready to defend itself and support its allies, but he avoids clear language that would confirm a direct war declaration. It's a balancing act that infuriates Putin but keeps Belarus from plunging headfirst into disaster. Western leaders are watching these developments closely. The United States, NATO, and the European Union have all warned Belarus against entering the war, promising severe economic consequences if they do. At the same time, they quietly encourage Lukashenko's hesitation, seeing it as a chance to deepen the cracks between Moscow and Minsk. For the West, every moment of delay on Belarus's part weakens Putin's ability to escalate the war and buys Ukraine valuable time to strengthen its defenses. On the ground, Ukrainian intelligence continues to monitor troop movements from Belarusian territory. Drone footage shows Russian units constructing field bases and supply depots, while Belarusian soldiers remain largely confined to their barracks. Ukrainian officials have stated that while they take the northern threat seriously, they believe Lukashenko is bluffing, trying to show loyalty to Putin without actually committing his forces. This uncertainty keeps both sides on edge and creates a dangerous game of psychological warfare. For Lukashenko, the situation is becoming more dangerous with each passing day. He is caught between two powerful forces, the Kremlin's demands and his people's anger. If he refuses Putin outright, Russia could retaliate economically or even politically, perhaps by supporting a rival within Belarus. But if he gives in and sends his army into Ukraine, he risks igniting a domestic crisis and turning his already fragile rule into chaos. That's why his recent speeches have been filled with vague statements about defending Belarusian sovereignty and preventing the spread of war as he tries to navigate this geopolitical minefield. Putin, on the other hand, cannot afford to look weak. The Russian president has built his image around strength and control, and the idea that a smaller ally might defy him publicly is unacceptable. Reports suggest that Putin has held several tense phone calls with Lukashenko in recent weeks, urging him to act decisively. Some insiders even claim that Russian military advisors in Belarus are pressuring local commanders directly, bypassing Minsk's official channels. This growing tension has created mistrust between the two countries that were once described as brotherly allies. International analysts believe this standoff could shape the next phase of the war. If Lukashenko continues to resist, it could signal the beginning of a quiet rift within the pro-Russian alliance, isolating Putin even further. But if he caves under pressure, Belarus could find itself pulled into a brutal and unwinnable conflict, one that could devastate its economy, alienate its people, and make it a full extension of Russia's military machine. Either way, the world is witnessing a crucial turning point. For now, the Belarusian army remains on high alert. Russian convoys continue to move through its territory, and the people of Ukraine watch the northern skies with caution. The question everyone is asking is simple but chilling. How long can Lukashenko say no to Putin before he pays the price? His hesitation may have bought him some time, but time is something Putin rarely grants his allies freely. As winter approaches and the war grinds on, the world will soon learn whether Belarus chooses defiance or submission, and how that choice could reshape the entire conflict. If you found this deep dive informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on the evolving situation between Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine. The next few weeks may reveal whether Lukashenko's gamble pays off or whether Putin decides to make an example out of his last remaining ally. Stay tuned, this story is far from over.